The year is 1348. The sun has just dipped below the frozen tree line. The air outside smells of biting frost and coming darkness, but inside the walls there is the scent of roasted venison, dried sage, and burning oak. Tonight we are leaving the noise of the present behind to walk through a day in the life of a medieval noble preparing for the long winter. No politics, no wars, just the quiet rhythm of survival against the cold. We will sit by their fires, eat at their tables, and find warmth in the stone. To understand winter here, you must first understand the stone. In summer, these walls are a blessing, trapping the cool air. But in January, the stone is a relentless creature. It pulls the heat from the air. And so, the castle puts on its winter coat. Notice the walls. They are not bare. Great tapestries hang from the ceiling to the floor. We often view these as art, but their true purpose is insulation. They create a layer of dead air between the freezing rock and the living space. A castle in winter is a world wrapped in wool. Deep within the keep, the great hall has become the heart of the home. Unlike the modern world, where we separate ourselves into different rooms, the medieval winter forced everyone together. The lord, the lady, and the household staff all gravitate toward the central hearth. The fire here is never allowed to die. It is fed day and night with ash and oak, the smoke drifting up into the rafters where herbs are hung to dry. Meanwhile, the rhythm of the day has slowed. The harvest is done. The fields are frozen. The frantic pace of autumn has given way to a season of rest. The diet has shifted to what the cellar can provide: salted meats, root vegetables, and thick stews. And to warm the blood, there is hippocras, hot wine infused with cinnamon, ginger, and cloves. Before we retire for the evening, let us look at where they slept. As the night deepens, the Lord retires to the solar, but even here the cold waits. This is why the medieval bed looks the way it does. The four posts, the canopy, the heavy velvet curtains. It is a room within a room. Before sleep, a servant slides a warming pan, a copper box filled with hot coals, between the linen sheets. Once the curtains are drawn tight, the body heat is trapped inside, a warm cocoon floating in the darkness. From this high window, safe beneath the firs, the castle is silent. But down in the valley below the shadow of the fortress, the world looks different. There are no stone walls there, no great tapestries to block the winds, just small wooden structures huddled together against the drifts. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the lowing of cattle brought inside for warmth. How did they survive the night? Let us leave the castle now and walk down the frozen path to the village. Down here, away from the stone towers, the strategy for survival is different. The peasant's cottage is not built to impress. It is built to survive. The walls are thick wattle and daub, a mixture of woven wood, mud, straw, and clay. It sounds simple, but it is nature's perfect insulation. While the castle struggles to heat its massive stone halls, this small cottage glows. Stepping inside, the first thing you notice is the smell. It is earthy, sweet hay, wood smoke, and life. To the modern eye, bringing livestock indoors seems strange. But in the deep winter of the 14th century, this was a stroke of brilliance. The cow in the corner is not just an animal. It is a living radiator. The body heat of the livestock, combined with the central fire and the thatched roof above, turns this small space into an oven of warmth. Here there are no drafts, just a thick, shared heat. Winter in the village was known as the season of indoor work. The fields are frozen hard as iron, so the plough is put away. Instead, the work turns to mending. By the firelight, Men repair their tools, carving new handles from ashwood. Women spin wool into yarn, the rhythmic whir of the spindle becoming the heartbeat of the house. It was a time of repair, a time to fix what was broken during the frantic rush of summer. The food here is simple but hearty. Pottage, a thick stew of oats, peas, and onions that simmers on the fire for days, constantly replenished. It warms you from the inside out. Outside, the wind might be stripping the leaves from the trees, but in here, with a bowl of pottage and the family gathered close, the winter feels distant. And because the nights were so long, darkness falling by 4 in the afternoon, this was the season of the storyteller. Without books, history was kept in the firelight. Legends of old kings, warnings about the spirits in the forest, and gossip from the neighboring village. The winter was not just a time to sleep, it was a time to remember who you were. But not everyone sought warmth in the company of others. While the village was alive with stories and the castle with feasting, there was another place. A place standing apart on the edge of the forest. A place where winter was met, not with conversation but with silence. Let us leave the village now. Let us walk up the hill, past the frozen stream, to the monastery, where the brothers are lighting the beeswax candles for a different kind of work. While the castle feasts and the village sleeps, the monastery remembers. Here, winter is not a time of hibernation. It is a time of discipline. The stone walls of the abbey are colder than the castle, for here, comfort is not the goal. But there is a specific kind of warmth to be found in this silence. In the scriptorium, the work begins. Winter provides the long, quiet hours needed to copy the words of God and the history of men. But the cold is a dangerous enemy here, not just to the men, but to the work. If the ink freezes, the history is lost. And yet, there are no open fires here. A stray spark could destroy a library of knowledge in minutes. So, how did they write? They used warming stones, smooth river rocks heated in the kitchen fires and brought into the library to keep fingers nimble. Or, they would take turns visiting the calefactory, the warming room. This was often the only room in the entire monastery with a fireplace. A place where a brother could stand for a few minutes, thaw his bones, and then return to the cold desk to finish the page. The smell here is different, too. It is not the smell of roast meat or wood smoke. It is the smell of beeswax, cleaner and sweeter than the animal fat candles used in the village. It is the smell of old parchment and incense. While the blizzard rages outside, threatening to bury the world, the scribe creates a world of color and gold leaf on the page. Perfect, ordered, eternal. But beyond the monastery walls, beyond the order of the church and the safety of the village, there lies the domain of winter that no wall can keep out. The wild, the trees are bare. The shadows are stretching long across the snow. And as the sun sets on the shortest day of the year, the old stories say that the veil between worlds grows thin. We have seen how the castle survives. We have seen how the village survives. We have seen how the monastery survives. Now we must venture into the woods, to face the winter itself, beyond the walls of the castle and the prayers of the monks. The forest belongs to winter. Here, survival is a game of silence. A hunter moves through the trees. He is not looking for sport, he is looking for dinner. The forest in winter is a paradox. It is dead, yet it is watching. The medieval mind saw the woods not just as a resource, but as a realm of magic. In the long darkness of December, the winter solstice, the nights stretched on for 16 hours. It was believed that the sun was dying, that the darkness might swallow the world forever. And so they fought back the dark with the oldest weapon they had, light. This is the origin of the Yule log. It was not just firewood. It was a ritual. An entire tree, chosen from the forest, was dragged through the snow with ceremony and song. When it was brought into the great hall, it was struck with the remains of last year's log, a bridge of fire connecting the past to the future. As the log burned, it promised that the light would return, that the seed of spring was already sleeping beneath the snow. For 12 days, the feast would continue. The 12 days of Christmas were not just a song, they were a necessity, a period of mandatory rest, feasting, and warmth to outlast the heart of winter. The snow is still falling outside, the wind is still howling against the stone, but inside we have found our sanctuary. We have walked the ramparts of the castle, we have sat by the peasant's hearth, we have smelled the beeswax in the library and watched the sparks of the Yule log rise up the chimney. History is often told as a story of wars and dates, but the quiet side of history is simply the story of people finding warmth in a cold world, of finding light in the dark. And just like them, you have made it through the day. The work is done, the harvest is in. Now it is time to rest. If this journey into the past helped you find a moment of calm, you can stay in this quiet space with us by subscribing. There are many more stories to tell and many more fires to light. You have carried enough for today. The history is written, and the work is done. The past is at peace, and now, so are you. You are safe here. You have earned this quiet. Drift to sleep now. Good night, and sleep well.